Well, now that autumn is well into its period now, I thought what an opportunity to paint this lovely house that I came across recently on my cycle rides. This is appealing to me for various reasons. I think it's a very historical building. Actually, you see on the left here, this big mansion here, this house in the foreground with this lovely architecture, these lovely windows and the roof shapes and the tree and the entrance there. This was originally the stables for this big mansion here, built in the 1860s, 50s, something like that, I'm not quite sure. But I've got lots of lovely things to capture here. And it's a good idea sometimes to look at your picture and say, well, what have I really got to capture in this? I think I have to, for me, it's, I like the autumn shades and colour and that tree there, the lovely shapes. But I like the architectural shapes of this magnificent old house. So I've done hopefully a fairly accurate drawing. So you've got most paintings start with a fairly decent drawing. It varies, of course, how much detail you want to put in your drawing, but enough to guide me anyway, and that's the way you should do it, I think, what you require to give you guidance. There's lots of opportunity for texture in here as well. Look at all those bricks. Aren't they beautiful? Now, I'm not going to paint all of them, of course. That would be crazy. That would be far too much detail and would probably ruin the picture. But I'm going to have to suggest them, get some elements in. And against that lovely brown and umber, reddish colours, I've also got this stone wall here. And of course we've got that face there, that lovely red brick face against the dark umber of this roof line. And we've got the dark greens here, lighter greens here, and the yellowy autumnal greens. So let's get on and see what we can do with this one. So I think we'll start with the sky. I'm going to use, well, a combination of palettes actually. I'm going to use my little Winsor & Newton little pocket kit. They've got very nice artist quality paints. They're very intense, lots of pigment in them. So I'll use that. But I also use, in my other palette here, I've got a lot of Daleroni, Winsor & Newton ones, but a big range of colours there. So if I need those, and I've got a few Sennelier paints as well. So I might dip into certain colours for that. But let's start off with this sky, and I'm going to use, for this one, for this sky on this particular, I'm going to use some Winsor & Newton blue. It's a little different from what I normally use. I almost always use ultramarine, and if I want a cooler blue I would use cerulean. But I'm going to go with this Winsor blue, because when I used it the other day it made a nice granulated effect as I painted in. So let's make a bit of a puddle there. I want to make up sufficient. It's a very intense blue actually. So although in my reference is not tremendously vivid, but I've got to remember that it's going to dry a lot lighter, which is what happens with watercolour. I'm going to sweep it in here over the tops of these buildings. Doesn't really matter because they're going to be much darker, but I'll bring it down over that tree line and perhaps behind that tree there. But I think I'm going to just give a more intense colour in that area, just to give it a little bit of variety. And I think I'm going to drop in a little purple, a little ultramarine, not crimson alizarin, with a little bit of my blue, just to add some little bits of interest in certain areas. So, okay, let's leave it at that. And then with a damp brush, I can just soften or just clean off that roof line, just so I can still use my sketch as guidance. Lovely mansion there in the background. So, right. Actually, I think I'm going to just lift a little bit here using a damp brush. Lighter in that area. And also just to the side of my trees, which I'll do in shortly. That will give me the contrast. You see, I've got light here. I'll have a dark green here. I'll leave a few holes for the lighter sky to shine through. Right, let's leave that. Now, I think I'm going to get in this roadway. Actually, let's put some colour in there because it's rather distracting. So I'm going to get some burnt umber here with a little bit of my blues and purples left, and sort of neutral earthy tones. We need to get that down. So I'll make it up a bit darker. A bit of blue. And in fact, on my other palette, I've got some Payne's Grey. So I think I'm going to just darken things up a little with that. Sweep in here. This is a crossroads actually. There's a road comes down here behind this house and up towards us. So we'll just start that for the moment. We can put some different colours. This little bit of bank here. I think I'm going to put a bit of green in right away. And there's some wall there, so I'll use a little bit of yellow ochre. Strengthen that up a little bit. Become a little bit greeny there. Let's go back, get a more intense ochre colour. That's it. Drop a little different colours in. Can define that a little bit later. And also along the edge of this wall, We've got greens as well. Something coming up the wall. But let's get the this wall actually is quite grey. It's grey, certainly a grey colour. Let's just keep it fairly light because it contrasts with this lovely brick wall, which is going to be reddish. So I think we can go with that. Put some different colours in as we go. So I've got a nice gate. Some grey ball there. Lovely pillar there. So let's just put that. I think I'm going to put a bit of ochre actually as well. And some little bluey elements, I think. Some greyish, bluey grey. Again, I can go back later and put different brush strokes in to suggest this stone wall, the form of the bricks, or the stones I should say, which is what they are. Along the face there, it's a little redder. Get a little bit of burnt sienna, I think, along that will do. Comes along there. Let's tone it down a little bit. Right. Okay, let's leave that. Let's think. Let's get this big patch of wall in too, because it's throwing my eye off a little bit. So it's a good idea to get them big forms in your first wash. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get some burnt umber with a touch of alizarin in it. And let's see, yes, that's not so bad, that's not so far out. So it's got a nice shape, got a tall element here, then it drops down, revealing that window area, and then this nice curved piece of work as well. So I'm going to use a bit of dry brush here. This paper will pick up a little bit of texture. So I've got it's Langton's. It's cold pressed, so there's a bit of texture in it. Right, okay, let's leave that for the moment. See, that's our first wash on that anyway. Said I can put different little bits of dry work into it later. But actually, well, I can see, I need to mark off the difference, the delineation of this wall. So I think when it's a little bit damp, I'll use that opportunity to dab in a few marks here to try and show these stones here. just using some sort of neutral tones really on my palette. Let's get some different colours there. Show that wall up a little bit more. Right, let's leave that for the moment. Now, let's think. Perhaps we should go and get these roofs in. Let's have a look at my reference again. Yes, they're a nice umbery colour. A little bit of red to them. So I'm going to go that umber. A little smidge of alizarin crimson. A little bit of ultramarine. A little darker, more ultramarine. A little bit more umber. So I'm trying to get the tones right, which is always the challenge actually. They say colour gets all the glory, I've heard it said in painting, but it's the tonal values that do all the heavy lifting, as it were, make it work. So just block it in there, and there also. Again, I can, a lot of this is, most of this will be covered by the tree, but I'll just get some tone in there, some dark, and also a little bit darker in this bit just here. See there. Yes, this is more of that roof. There's a bit of a dormer window here, a peak of it, so I'll paint around that for the moment. I'll look how I can define that a little bit better. As I go. Right, okay, we can do that. Let's bring that up a bit to the peak. And along, I think I'm going to get a smaller brush. I need a little bit more control now. So I'm going to find, I need a little square. Yes, this is the one I want. Little flat brush here, which is a number 9. Can you see that? So that can do the job for me, I think. And then I want to step up some of these darks. Yes, I think need more dark on there, but I need to bring this down here a little darker. And the line on there. You can use the edge on these. See, there's quite a sharp edge on that. So that can help. And I need to also have quite a bit darker in some of these areas, just behind here. Because this tree, when I've done it all, is casting quite a lot of shadow over there, over that. And also behind this bit of curbing area, a little bit of stonework, there's a bit more of a shadow line. So we'll do that. Right. Okay, now let's think, where do we go? What's the priorities now? Perhaps we should go and get some of that roof in as well. Although I've got some darks on this brush, I can do some suggestion of these stones. Certain elements of them. Green, got greens going up here too, which I could do that. Greens coming down this wall, sort of ivy, cascading down here. Along here. And lots of areas of green actually. So well, I got it. You don't have to follow any particular order. You can just tap them in if you're using them, dodge around. If you've got that appropriate colour on your brush, you can do that. There's trees in the distance there. Now I think we need to, oh yes, just get some green in front of this, so we know where we are. Yes, that's about the right tone, I think. But I can vary it by dropping in some yellows. Got a little bit of Sennelier there, lemon yellow, which I can put in there to lighten things up a little bit. And some reds, which we've got in certain areas, just over the tops there actually. It's reddy green. Change it a little bit. Okay. Right. Right, that's good. Should we get our... Yes, I think I'm going to put in these tree trunks well we can. Well, we've got a fairly darkish colour here, and it's quite a interesting tree actually. It's got some really big big boughs that are right in the foreground here. Quite knobbly old shapes actually. It's been cut in various over the years. Must be very old. A couple of hundred, I imagine. Yes, we've got more here. Very gnarly old tree actually. Trying to get it a little bit thinner as it goes. But as I said, this is all going to be obscured by my vegetation that I put in a short while. So I needn't worry too much at this point, as long as I get the rough shape. So I think I can bring more in here. Another one coming like this. There we are. Some of them come out over the tree, over the house. Right. Using some darks here to refresh that roof line a little bit. And then we've got the chimney here, which I'll put in a nice bricky colour shortly. There's lots of detail in these Victorian houses. They certainly spent some time getting them right. There's this wall is in the front here with lots of fancy brickwork, which I'll try and do. But anyway, let's press on, and I think I should put in some greens for this tree. Let's lay it in while we're here. I'll take my squirrel brush this time, and what should we do? It's a lot of ochre actually. I think I'm going to tap in a fair amount of ochre. Comes out here. I think I get a slightly stiffer mixture. I'll put some greens in there as well. Different greens. I've got sap green. And actually it comes out over this house. over this roof line quite a lot, so we've got to do that. Let's use some Viridian as well to just give us some change of colour. Right. More detail here. I think it's quite dense. Actually comes down the side of this house and merges up here. It's a massive colour. So let's go back then with some ochre mixed with those greens. So we've got something of a more yellowy. I think we'll drop a bit more yellow actually. Bit of my Sennelier. Nice creamy colours. Let's get some really brighter greens. And we ought to get some oranges as well. Let me see what I can mix up. Yes, I've got a little bit of cadmium orange as well, which I can dab in as well to give me some autumnal variety. Perhaps we better dab a bit of red, make it slightly redder as well. Yes, we can do that. Now I think I need to drop in the occasional darker green as well. So we've got some contrast in the heart of the tree here. So I've got a little bit of ultramarine now, which I'm just going to dab into the heart of the tree here. Leave a few sky holes, but in the heart of it, in the middle, let's get some dark greens here. Right. Use the side of my brush. Try and create some change there. I've got something coming across that house, but I want to try and give an opportunity to leave make sure I got some of the Victorian architecture to show as well. Right, okay. And here, off of here, I've got quite a dark tree coming in here, almost bluey, sort of a bit conifer-like actually, projecting into my scene a little bit. So I think I'm going to leave something like that, and could use some of that darker bits there, make it a little denser. I've got too many sky holes showing here. Right, let's not overdo it. Well, I've got a darker greens. We can do these weeds coming ivy, hang up the wall here. because that's a much better colour for that. And I've got on this front of the house here, there's ivy coming there, but I've got to put some bricky colour in there in a moment. So I should perhaps have done that first of all, but not to worry. I can use a little darker here, so this will contrast with this light face of this house because the sun is coming left to right. So wherever you can, you want to take an opportunity to grab contrasts, to show contrasts. And a little bit more there, more green here, a bit of war. And also I've got a sort of bluey green. Yes, I got, this is all dark green coming over this wall. But notice I haven't got it too vivid. You don't want it too vivid because it will bring it too far forward. It is a little bit in the distance there, a few hundred yards from where I took the photograph, so it's not quite so intense. So I'm going to leave that. Now I need to deal with the front of that house. So let's get a slightly different brush. Yes, let's go for a, not that small, but let's get something appropriate. Let me think, what have I got? Yes, I've got this one now. This is a round synthetic. I'm trying to get a number 6. Number 6 there. So I'm going to get back and let's get some of this terracotta bricky colours in. So I better remember to keep this much lighter. So better to go light initially, and then I can always darken up. It's not enough. But yes, I think we can, because I want contrast with the other colours of the house, which are somewhat more shaded. So I just sweep this in with a little bit of dry brush actually, which allows a little bit of texture. So I'm getting a little bit of burnt sienna, so I still need a little bit more colour, I think. I'll go with that. Right, let's go down here. Leave that window, which I've got here. Got a nice window there. And I think I'm going to tidy that shape up a little bit. But while I've got this colour, I can do this face as well. So let's get that in. And this bricks here, they've got a nice arch, lovely little bit of brickwork there, which I've got to try and suggest in a moment. Right, let's do that. Yes, and so I think I could make that a little redder actually. Let's get back on that. It's not intense enough, I think. Let's drop a bit of red into our burnt sienna. Yes, I think I'm going to emphasize this a little bit more. Right, and I've got contrast with this. You see the difference between this and this. It will help you read it a little bit better. Again, coming down the side of that interesting bit of brickwork. We'll do the windows later. Yes, that's a little bit better, I think. And here, I need to have these in. Use that chimney, get that colour in. Right. Actually, I think that needs to be part of the roof there. I've got a darker tone here to do this chimney. I see lots of nice stonework on these chimneys. And I've got to try and suggest some of the texture on the tiles on the roof. Got to do that at some point. Let's try and get some different colours into this wall. I think I should use a different brush here, but we'll do that in a minute. Let's get some slightly different tones to show the stonework there. And I've got to try and do with that window in a moment. It's a lovely round window actually. Let's sort that in a minute. Now let's have a look. Let's get some neutrally tone. I'll have to put some. Let's get that one done as well. Yes, I need a much more textured area in here. Just get a bit of dark tones going, bit of umber, a little blue. So we can ring the changes there. You need dark and light, of course, to give you some form, suggests it's got some solidity. So you can see it suddenly emerges now out of the gloom, as it were, a little indistinct. But if you just add a little bit of texture sometimes here and there, it can come alive. Well, there, I'm going to do a little bit more here. Let's get some umber and some little bit of blue to give us the opportunity to put the odd dark brick in as well. And also in this wall, of course, I can see lots of things here that need to be done. These cracks coming in. Give you that shape. These big stones standing on end. Right. Let's go back to that again. I'll use a different brush in a minute to give me some brick shapes. So I can see actually we still need something down here. It's too much white, it's a bit boring. So we flick in some different colours. You've got to ground your structures as well. So put something along the wall there, along the edge of the roadway here. I need to darken that up a little bit so we can see. Need a little bit more. I think I can give a bricky colour to this pillar here. Nice ball on the top there. A hint of brick work there too. Right, let's get something else in. Right, let's get to the roof of this building. So we'll go with some burnt sienna, because it is quite reddish. It's a little too red. Let's put a bit of brown to calm it down. Yes, I think we could do, we'll go with that. Just looking where the roof line is. Yes, it's all along here. Again, I'm going to put a tree there, so I needn't worry too much about where I'm putting my red, because that will be covered with a much darker colour. Right. And there And we've got to get some colour for the face of the house. Yes, I think that's going to be ochre colour. I'll do that right away, I think. So I'll go to back to my little kit here. Very nice, strong, intense colours there. But I don't want it too strong. Just going to sweep in here. Bit of wall along still there. I'll intensify that. That will add ivy up there in a while. Still preserve some of the whites of the paper, which is always nice to do with a watercolour. Let's lift that a little bit. Just sweeping the colours in, actually. This is not photo accurate. This is more impressionistic, which is the way I like to paint. But you could spend a lot of time being very accurate with it if you want. You could do an oil and take a long time over it if you want it. So let me think now. I think while I'm noticing, I'm going to go straight in and correct some of these greens. So I've got a bit of viridian and a little bit of sap. So I want to make that read a little bit more, because it's quite intense actually. In fact, I could put a little hint of blue in it as well, just to make it look a little bit different. There's a lot of ivy on this wall. There's an entrance there. Let's get some thick paint there. Ring the changes. Lots of variety. Right. A little bit of different green there, here and there. Now let's think what I'm going to do about this. I think I need to, this is not red enough either. Let's get some stronger, slightly more colourful, slightly darker red in there. Right. Get right down. So we've got more contrast with that than this now, which is what we need to do. I think I could have a little darker still there. I've got some contrasts. Right, now let's think, should I put more greens there, this wall? Different colours here. I want to keep it fairly light. just dark in places so it reads like a wall. But I mustn't put in too much. Strangely enough, you put in too much, you run the risk of overworking it. It doesn't work then. So I think I need to put in something along here. Let's get a bit of browns going there. There's quite a lot of autumnal feel. Of course, there's leaves falling and around here as well. But I need to get this other tree in. Let's get it in right away. It's much more lighter really, so I think I'm going to just get some ochre with just a hint of green. See if I can't dab in a few things. Actually, I need to I could use a fan brush, of course, for this, but you can try different things. But I need to put in that the tree in, which is basically a green because it's covered in ivy. So I'm going to get ivy green, nice green with some umber. I think I need some ultramarine. You see there, some darker colour. It's sort of pretty much the same as this wall actually. It's all covered in ivy. Smurry it out. Some texture. Right, now let's get on with that. Get a stiffer mix. Got more control of it. Right, it's coming down here. It's quite a big tree actually. There we go. It's got the odd hint of tree branches. Right. Now I think actually when I've got this stiffer mix, I can do some more details. Some of these boughs are just showing. Some of the that's better. We can do that. Right, let's actually there were just some tiny, got quite a tip on this, can you see that? There's quite a tip on there, so I can use it just to give me some branches. Actually, the leaves were fallen very much from this tree now. So it was, and also I can put a few lighter bushes and shrubs here. And so they had a reddy colour, some reddy shrub there. So I'm going to get some little bits of red going here. It's coming along like this. And also off of the side of here, I think I saw something. Right. I need to get some darker colours along the base of this wall. It's a little bit in shadow. So I can ground it a little bit. See this wall, this window, got some great brickwork. So I'm going to try and hint at that. Just show some of the shapes, if we can. Slightly different style of bricks on the top. They were on end, so I can try and hint at that. And then lots of different bricks here, brick shapes, so I'll just mark a few in. I could make some a bit darker actually too. Let's go with that. Certainly dark along that edge, that little crease there, almost like a tile crease. And this one, nice shapes as well. Lovely brickwork. Right, try and do a bit of detail here on this wall. Now this, I need to put a little bit of shadow there, and I need some brickwork in this. On that side there. Lovely brickwork, this house. Right. Now I know what I need to do. Along this line of the roof, you need to put in something very dark, or dark enough to suggest a bit of shadow. So I've got a bluey, reddish, little bit of crimson alizarin. And blue to go along there, just to give you a little bit of a shadow line. And also down here, I can notice that for some reason. And we need to, well, there you have the finished painting. I've taken off the tapes, but since my battery died, I had to do a little bit more work, of course, to bring it to a finish. But I've got a lot more texture in here and improve the texture of this wall. A little bit more work in the tree to add some more autumnal colours, a little bit of yellow and oranges, flecks there, and some gouache to get these lines of the roof here and this house in the background. There's some highlights that I needed to pick out, so I put some marks in the road, the 20-mile-an-hour limit there, road sign there, little tiny details, but I'm looking back, I'm reviewing it, reasonably happy, but of course you always feel you could do things a bit better, but all in all I'm quite pleased because I've got the shape fairly accurate, and the tonal values, the darks here, the reds, slightly different red there, different greens. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you would like to leave any comments, please do that in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up, and of course if you want to be alerted to when I do more work, just push the subscribe button and you'll be notified. Anyway, thanks for watching.